Hello, and welcome to my November wrap-up. I managed to read 10 books in November, and I'm quite pleased with that. I started up with Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, because I was born in the 80s and played a lot of the games from that time. I really enjoyed that part of this story, but it did have some weaknesses, but a great story overall. Then I picked up Scott Wilson, short book about tithing, and the concept of tithing in the New Testament. It's called God's Economic Engine. It was a really short read, but it felt a bit rushed, but it did give a lot of good insight into the theme. Then I read a book by Dana Gresh, What Are You Waiting For? The One Thing No One Ever Tells You About Sex. And it is about the word used for sexual encounter in the Bible, and it was surprisingly good read. Then I finished up C.S. Lewis' space theology with the last book called Last Hideout Strength. It's a thriller, but it's a really long thriller, and it is kind of slow thriller as well, because he uses a lot of time describing the characters and their thoughts and their relationships and everything. So it's a slow read, but there are parts of it that are really exciting as well, but it's maybe not for everybody. Then I read a book by Mark Batterson called In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day, and it is taken from a story in the Old Testament and how he then applies it to other parts of our lives, about how to survive and thrive when opportunity roars. Because I'm interested in philosophy and learning, I picked up Teaching Johnny to Think, and it is a philosophy of education based on the principles of Ayn Rand's objectivism by a lecture by Leonard Peikoff. And he talks about different methods for learning and how we should apply this to when we teach our children in school, and how the best method should be to teach them to think. And it is a really good introduction to this area. Out of curiosity, I also read Mark Hart's book, Behold the Mystery, and it is an insight into the mysteries of the Mass in the Catholic Church, a deeper understanding of the Catholic Mass, and it's really written for Catholic people that are not really understanding the importance of the Mass. And not for people like me, but still it was an interesting read, and it gave a little bit more background for the tradition and the service itself. Then I read a book by Etienne Gilson, God and Philosophy. He discusses the relationship between philosophy and God or gods from the early philosophers and through history to current days and current philosophy. And it's an interesting glimpse into thinking about God. Then I read a book by Marianne Fields Blale called Finding Wisdom, Learning from Those Who Are Wise. She's visiting a lot of different people that are considered wise by their communities in different parts of the world. Yeah, there are some good parts in it, and she discusses as well a little bit about what is wisdom and the importance of wisdom, but mostly it is the stories from these wise persons about how they became considered wise. So what are their life stories? And the last book I read was an ebook on programming in PHP, and it's called PHP Eric filtering, the use cases. Learn how to use every filtering function. And it's basically a short compilation of some functions in PHP programming language. That was all that I read in November. 10 books. Hope you find some of them interesting. And thank you for listening.